I think it's very important we don't leave the debate on earmarks for the American people. What we saw was an issue about the integrity of Congress. And Senator DeMint and myself have been championing. You know, there's only 4 members of the Senate that don't offer earmarks. There's only 4 out of 100 that don't play the game of earmarks. And it's important that the American people know that if we're going to have earmarks, it ought to be clearly identified. We ought to know who's benefiting, who is getting the money, who's sponsoring the money, and what the outcomes of that will be. It's great that the Appropriations Committee has just stated that they're going to voluntarily accede to the rules that we passed 98-0. Except there's one small problem with that. And that fact is there's no enforcement of the rules available to senators when they violate that very point, which means they may follow it, but if in fact they don't, we have no course of action with which to raise a point of order when they don't follow that. I want to go back to something what the esteemed senator from Illinois said, is that we've gotten what we want. No, we haven't. We haven't gotten it until the American people get the transparency that they need about how the Congress operates. And if you eliminate earmarks in appropriations, but don't eliminate earmarks in authorizations, what is authorized as an earmark will come to the appropriations as not an earmark, because it is then authorized. So we'll play the same game, but one step further back. I am disappointed at the leadership that they would block what the American people so fully want. And the idea that we have to conference what should be a Senate rule. When the House has already passed a rule, they operate under the very same thing that Senator DeMint has asked for. All we have to do is agree that we will, in fact, abide by those rules by accepting that as a rule of the Senate. Anything less than that is political Washington doublespeak what the American people are tired of. There shouldn't be one earmark, one special favor, one indication of anything done at any level, authorization or appropriation, that the American people aren't fully aware of who has the vetted interest in that and who will be the benefactor of that and what the motivations might be in association with that. So the fact that the majority objects to incorporating what we obviously supposedly all agree to, or was it the fact that people voted for it because the people wanted us to and now we won't carry it out? What it does by not adopting this rule, Senator DeMint's rule, is we undermine again the integrity of this body. The American people deserve transparency. The American people should have transparency. And the only way we can truly be held accountable by the American people is if they can see everything that's going on. To deny this rule, to deny the fact that we're going to operate in the open, to deny the fact that we're going to be held accountable is exactly what the American people are sick of. And I would remind my colleagues that we don't have a higher favorability rating than the president at this time, which we're so quick to impugn. And the reason we don't is the very reason that we just saw the objection placed on this rule, this resolution. To me, it's a sad day in the Senate because we're playing games again with the American people. I said after we passed the ethics bill, it'll be a long time till we saw anything. It'll be a long time. It's already been a long time. Why hadn't it been conferenced? There's been 80 days to conference an ethics bill. There hadn't been the first step. There hadn't been the naming of conferees. There hadn't been the first step to move towards that. The American people should surmise, and correctly, that the Congress still wants to work in the shadows. They still don't want to have transparency, and therefore they still don't want to be held accountable by the American people. Mr. President, I thank you for the time you yield back, and I will offer no objection to the senator from West Virginia's motion to accept amendments on the intelligence bill.